Welcome to Lake Baikal here in Siberia. Well, actually it's Southend-on-Sea, but you don't need a visa to get to Essex. We're here because Alexei Navalny, the effective leader of the Russian opposition, has declared war on the seagull, in Russian, Chaika. That's the name of Vladimir Putin's top law enforcement officer, Yuri Chaika, Russia's prosecutor general. The scourge of the seagulls, Alexei Navalny, is banned from leaving Moscow and rarely gives interviews to the foreign media. Navalny led anti-Putin protests 4 years ago.
Hi, John.
More than any other Russian, Navalny is fighting the Kremlin over corruption. How much money is being sucked out of the Russian economy a year?
Through corruption, I think it's at least something about $50 billion a year.
How corrupt do you think is Mr. Vladimir Putin?
He's czar of corruption. He's the basement of this corruption. And he's personally involved in corruption, and he's encouraging our official for corruption because it's his way of ruling country.
Navalny knows all too well what happens to people who challenge the Kremlin's power. 1 year ago, his friend and opposition leader Boris Nemtsov was shot dead in Moscow.
Boris Nemtsov was my friend, and he was shot dead maybe 100 meters from the Kremlin.
I asked him about the strange murder of Alexander Litvinenko. Is it possible to buy polonium in a shop in Russia?
That's why I guess your investigation shows that it was a FSB operation. Your British investigation about Mr. Litvinenko, and one of the conclusions on this investigation was that Mr. Putin personally probably involved in getting orders to Mr. Lugovoy to commit such crimes.
On Monday, Navalny will launch the English language version of his documentary on corruption in Russia. The thrust of Navalny's film is that corrupt officials are gorging on billions of dollars worth of Russia's wealth, just like these seagulls on these chips. The film alleges multi-million-dollar corruption by the sons of Prosecutor General Yuri Chaika.
Это Артем Юрьевич Чайка.
Artyom Chaika and Igor Chaika, seen here with the Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev and the Patriarch, Russia's version of the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Corruption in Russia not became something like, white-collar crime or something. We wanted to show this level of the degradation of Russian power.
Многопрофильные активы, принадлежащие сыну генерального прокурора Чайки.
In the film, he alleges that Artyom has got into bed with gangsters.
They're not just corrupt, they're involved in murders, in tortures, and raiding businesses, etc., etc.
Human fireflies come as standard when you're launching your hotel worth 30 million euros. Welcome to the opening ceremony for the Pomegranate Wellness Spa Hotel in Greece. Cutting the ribbon, Artyom Chaika. Russia Inc. turned out for the gig. This is Vladimir Medinsky, who said that Russians have an extra chromosome, which makes them supermen. He's not a geneticist, but Russia's Minister of Culture. Artyom Chaika's business associates in Pomegranate, Navalny alleges, have been close to the Sapok crime family. 6 years ago, the gang committed a massacre.
It was a crime which, shake the whole Russia, because it was a real massacre and 12 people were killed, including 4 children. 1 newborn children, they threw him in the fire while he was alive.
But that's not all. The film also alleges that Artyom stole a shipping company in the Lake Baikal region from underneath its owners.
За этим стоит и сын министра юстиции Артем Юрьевич Чайка.
Its director complained about Artyom. The next day, he was found dead with a rope around his neck. Suicide, said the authorities.
But according to the paper from the coroner office, the trace on his neck showed that it wasn't a suicide. But the Russian investigative bodies, they just refused to have any investigation.
Newsnight asked Artyom Chaika for a response but got no answer. But his dad, the Prosecutor General Yuri Chaika, has said of Navalny's film that it was a black PR action and a hatchet job, and the information presented is deliberately falsified and has no basis in fact, adding that it was paid for by the British and the Americans. Navalny isn't just challenging a few people called Chaika, Seagull. He's also taking aim at the system in Russia, which he thinks is rotten, and of course, the man in charge of that system, Vladimir Putin.